It's going to be when I found it was as empty as could be, and now I'm staring at my face above a bathroom sink, saying I want peace. It's where I am now. It's the only thing I haven't found somehow. There are other places, there are a million pretty faces, but I want peace. It's where I am. Used to worry about the future never came. Tried living in the past, never did quite feel the same. I used to think that there was a place I would rather be. I got there enough time to realize that you are only that's when I found.
Good morning, family, friends. Out this morning. Thor, come, baby boy. Oh, it's a good boy. Out this morning doing my. Oh, they literally just collided. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, they're crazy. Huskies that don't get walked are just full of energy. Look at them. Oh, they're just crazy. I've been pretty sick this week. Pretty down and out with a bad chest infection, pneumonia, and just feeling better. I'm on the mend. I'm healing. The medications that I was given did their job. Yeah, feeling much better. But I just wanted to come to you this week and talk a little bit about disappointment. My disappointment in myself this year, this season. We are kind of coming up to the end of season 3 here on YouTube. The channel initially was about moving to the country and doing all of the things. Country, homestead, things that are very new to Frank and I. We had a really hard season this year in the country property, new to homesteading, new to all of the things. And this season turned out to be pretty hard in the garden. I didn't have a lot of content to show you in the garden because I had what would probably be classified as a seasonal disaster. I lost my entire harvest. I harvested very little. I put a lot of effort into seedlings, which I lost. Then I ended up having to go to the local nursery and buy starts, which I spent a small fortune on, and they seemed to take. They were fine, but then I ended up getting blight in all of my tomatoes. My peppers just were squatty. They didn't perform, and I really had a moment of reconciling my feelings about being in the garden and how much disappointment it was this year. And I found myself standing in this space, somewhat feeling deflated. My sweet husband, bless his heart, saw the disappointment and decided to start fresh. It was kind of like a clean slate, start fresh. We didn't know if we had put a bad batch of wood chips on. We didn't know what the issue was. But what I can tell you is since then, because we are gearing up to a winter season here now, is that I have had time to reconcile my feelings about the garden. And I had just recently done a Bible study on the book of Mark, and Mark 4 talks about Jesus talking in parables, and the parable of the seeds, throwing the seeds and sowing the seeds, and whether they're thrown among the stones or the walkways, the weedy soil or the fertile soil, and whether or not it bears fruit. And it made me think of my season in the garden and how much time I had really truly been putting into it. And as much as as much as I knew I had been committed to the garden, I wasn't giving it the time it needed to be weeded. I wasn't giving it the time it needed to be watered. I wasn't tending it the way it needed to be tended to yield the fruit that I was expecting to hopefully put up for the winter season. And I knew that was all on me, and that I found myself extremely busy at work. I found myself extremely busy making excuses. Come on. So I found myself making excuses for not being in the garden. The mosquitoes were unbearable this season. The space that I found myself in the first 3 seasons, because this is only my 4th season gardening, that I found peace and refuge and just a filling of the heart, I was now finding burdened and no longer enjoying like I had initially. And I found myself just really struggling with being in it because of the mosquitoes and the heat and all of the things. Every time I would go out there, I would see pest pressures. I would see, it was just a disappointment every time I went out. So I stopped going out and I stopped tending it the way it needed to be tended. And so that's why this year you probably didn't see a lot of gardening content, but I was enjoying my time with Eli and doing some excursions and things like that we had done. But I'm really feeling a call on my heart to kind of make sure that next season is a time of new beginnings. I do love the spring and the garden time. I put it away for the season. Take you for a walk. I'm just taking the dogs here now. I'll take you for a walk over to the garden space and show you. Frank was just so sad for me. Sky, she's so good. Right there. Where's his brother? Where'd he go? Where'd his door go? There he is. Good boy. Here, sit. Good boy. Okay. What I just kind of have learned in this season, in this hard season in the garden, is that I get a chance to do it over. I get a chance to start again. And the spring, will I have a great season? I don't know. I may very well have another season like this, but my hope is that it's not. And I hope that if I give it the attention that it deserves and I get out there and stop making the excuses, I think that they say that comfort is the death of progress. And I was trying to make gardening a space of comfort, of just rather than the work it requires. And it does. It requires a lot of effort. And I had this romantic wooed notion that I could just spend my mornings out there sipping my coffee and looking at the beauty that I had done. And unless I was out there at like 6 a.m. before the mosquitoes, it just was not a space that I enjoyed being in. I'm hoping that maybe the mosquitoes will be done next season. They won't be as harsh.
Garlic is so easy. Screw the tomatoes. Screw the cukes. The frickin' lettuces can kiss my toe. And we're gonna do good peppers next year, and we're gonna do some nice flowers. And then we're doing some nice raised on the grass here. And that way I can cut the grass in between. They're gonna be wide enough that I can run my lawnmower down the middle of them. Whippersnip.
This was what we salvaged out of that. Not very much. Some sweet banana peppers, marigolds. Holy smokes.
Garden should be your place of enjoyment. And the way it looked here on Friday, I didn't even want to walk in it, let alone you. I'm going to change the watering system so that you can just go walk down there, plug it in, and then come up here, turn a valve. And then as long as you've got it plugged in down there, it's running up, it's watering. Instead of having to stand there and...
It takes almost 2 hours to water the garden.
Yeah. I want you to be able to come out and water it and sit down and have a coffee.
I don't know if you remember, I just wanted to show you here. Our willow tree, which is the most majestic. I just love the willow tree, and it's such a big tree. We had a massive windstorm and ice storm there a few days ago, and this fell down last year. Good boy. Here, sit. I said, good boy. This tree has just been, when we first moved here, this was my pride and joy, this beautiful tree. I wanted to put a nice big swing on it, but never did get around to it. I'm kind of glad that we didn't, because look at this. That came down, that branch came down last year, and this branch here, I don't know if you can see it right here. It's a really large branch too. Came down from way up here. I don't know if you can see it. That's where it's come off, but you're silly. You want to play with your stick. They always grab the biggest sticks. Come on. You're nubbins. What are you doing? That stick's too big to play with. They are my joy. But anyways, I'm gonna go here now to to the garden and show you how we're going to reset it and what we're going to work on and try and hopefully accomplish for the spring. We put it away. Ooh, we put it away for the winter. All right, guys, this is the newest chicken hotel. Hey, girls. So we've been using the Justin Rhodes chicken tractor for housing these girls for the last 3 years, and they are pretty spent. They're old. This is likely going to be their last winter. I think they're laying very little now, and so Frank has a new flock coming next week, a winter flock, and we needed some a stationary. I'm not really a fan of the idea of a stationary coop, but because we have such cold winters here, we do need to provide a nice shelter for them. And what we've always done, I don't know if you can see this here, this thing here is the frame for the coop, for the just a car garage that we purchased at Canadian Tire here in Canada, similar to just an exterior garage, that a carport or whatever, and we would put the chicken tractor in it in this space. It is totally fenced in. This is my garden space, which the gate has been pushed over. The girls can come and go as they choose, but they don't go too far. Hey, girls. But anyways, you can see over there my garden has been totally pulled up, and as much as I didn't want it tilled, Frank decided just to go ahead and do the first layer of tilling just to kind of inoculate whatever was in there. If there was any sort of diseased wood, he tore it all off and was able to kind of clean it up, and so we'll start again in the spring. No, I'm collecting it for, look at the seeds. I grew seeds this year.
Out of this garden?
Dill seeds for next year.
Okay.
Did you get my carrot? We're going to work on that this season. We're going to try and get the chickens cleaned up, try and get them into their coop and into this space, and do the run for them for the winter and make it more of a stationary situation. And then, so yeah, because we're having there's this thing that apparently in the homesteading community I chuckle about, is it's called chicken math and crazy chicken ladies. And I think that's my husband. He's become this crazy chicken guy. He loves his girls so much and he enjoys. There was one of the girls that didn't make it back to the coop, and he was out here with his headlamp looking for her for almost 2 hours. Found her. So he's committed to his girls and he wants to make sure that they're comfortable for the winter. So he's hoping that this will give them the comfort they need, and hopefully we will be into some serious eggs here that we can start giving to the family, because we all eat a lot of eggs, and so to be able to offer this to the family as a sustainable source of food, this is wonderful. We haven't gotten our head wrapped around meat chickens just yet, but it is something that we're exploring and we're researching more, so hopefully we can do that. And we're going to get our head back on and kind of get back in the game and do a lot more in the garden, and potentially with some more animals. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us and coming along on this journey, and my apologies that the channel has kind of taken a bit of a left turn out of the garden and out of the country space, but I promise you next season we'll do a little bit more of that. But in the meantime, just I enjoy bringing you along and enjoying some of the fun things our family gets up to. So thanks so much for hanging out, and until next time, stay safe and keep living.
Never did quite feel the same. I used to think that there was a place I would rather be, but I got there enough time to realize that you are only. So now I found it's the only place I found. There are other places filled with a million pretty faces, but I found peace with where I am now. Through the ups and downs, I have figured out you find peace where you make it. scenery won't change it. And I wasted so much time thinking I could ever find enough of anything that would bring me peace. So I found peace with who I am now. It's the only me I'll ever be. I found there are other places, there are a million other faces. I